The night was ominous when the creature was finally brought to life. Lightning crackled across the blackened sky, and thunder echoed through the mountains as Horvath cackled maniacally in his lab. The twisted amalgamation of flesh and fur convulsed on the operating table, its monstrous form taking shape. As the clock struck midnight, the creature's eyes snapped open, revealing a malevolent glow that sent shivers down Horvath's spine. The unholy experiment had succeeded, and the beast now roamed the world with a thirst for blood. The mutant werewolf, a grotesque fusion of human and wolf, with elongated limbs and razor-sharp claws, broke free from the chains that bound it. Its fur, a sickly blend of midnight black and blood red, bristled with an unnatural energy. Horvath, blinded by his lust for power, failed to comprehend the true terror he had unleashed upon the world. As the creature escaped into the night, a blood-red moon hung low in the sky, casting an eerie glow over the rural landscape of Hungary. The townsfolk, unaware of the abomination that lurked in the shadows, continued their peaceful lives, their fates sealed by the mad scientist's insidious creation. The first attack occurred on the outskirts of a quaint village nestled at the foot of the Carpathians. The air grew thick with tension as the creature prowled through the narrow cobblestone streets, its distorted silhouette haunting the nightmares of those who dared to gaze upon it. The village watchmen, armed with rusty swords and flickering lanterns, patrolled the darkened alleyways, oblivious to the impending doom that loomed over them. A blood-curdling howl shattered the silence, echoing through the village like a malevolent symphony. Panic gripped the hearts of the townsfolk as they fumbled to secure their homes, but the creature moved with an otherworldly speed, striking terror into the hearts of its prey. The first victim, an elderly woman, met her demise in the flickering candlelight of her humble cottage. The mutant werewolf crashed through the wooden door, its claws slicing through the air like scythes of death. The woman's feeble screams echoed in the night as the creature tore into her flesh, leaving a gruesome tableau of carnage in its wake. Word of the attack spread like wildfire, and the village erupted into chaos. The creature, driven by an insatiable bloodlust, rampaged through the streets, leaving a trail of mangled corpses in its wake. The once peaceful village became a battleground, its cobblestone streets stained with the blood of the innocent. The second attack unfolded in a nearby hamlet, where the unsuspecting villagers huddled together for safety. The mutant werewolf, its fur matted with the blood of its previous victims, stalked through the shadows with an unnatural grace. It picked off its prey one by one, dragging them into the darkness with a ruthless efficiency that left no room for escape. The hamlet's church bells tolled in desperation, their mournful clangor resonating through the night. The clergy, clad in tattered robes, clasped their hands in prayer, beseeching divine intervention to end the reign of terror that gripped their once peaceful community. But the creature paid no heed to the pleas of mortals, for it was a beast forged in the crucible of forbidden knowledge. As the night wore on, the mutant werewolf continued its relentless onslaught, its path of destruction expanding like a wildfire. The rural landscape of Hungary became a nightmare realm, where every rustle of the wind and every fleeting shadow harbored the lurking menace of the monstrous abomination. In a desperate attempt to quell the terror that plagued the land, a group of valiant villagers banded together, armed with torches and pitchforks. Their faces, etched with fear and determination, betrayed the gravity of the situation. They knew that confronting the mutant werewolf meant facing a force that defied the natural order, a creature born of madness and dark sorcery. The final confrontation unfolded in the heart of the Carpathian forest, where the creature had sought refuge among the gnarled trees and tangled underbrush. The villagers, guided by the flickering light of their torches, approached the beast's lair with trepidation. The air was thick with the stench of decay, and an unnatural silence enveloped the forest as if nature itself recoiled from the abomination that lurked within. The mutant werewolf, sensing the impending threat, emerged from the shadows with a feral snarl. Its bloodshot eyes glowed with an unholy fervor as it confronted the villagers who dared to challenge its reign of terror. The air crackled with tension as the two forces clashed in a battle that would decide the fate of the rural communities. The villagers fought valiantly, their torches casting long shadows in the moonlit night. The mutant werewolf, however, moved with a supernatural agility, its claws slashing through the air like a whirlwind of death. One by one, the villagers fell before the creature's onslaught, their cries of anguish echoing through the forest. In the midst of the chaos, a brave blacksmith named Istvan stepped forward, wielding a silver-coated blade passed down through generations. The villagers, their numbers dwindling, looked to Istvan with a flicker of hope. Legends spoke of the werewolf's vulnerability to silver, and Istvan's family heirloom was their last hope for salvation. The battle raged on, the forest bearing witness to the clash between humanity and the twisted creation of a mad scientist. Istvan, fueled by a combination of fear and determination, faced the mutant werewolf head-on. The creature lunged at him with primal fury, its claws poised to strike. With a swift and practiced motion, Istvan thrust the silver-coated blade into the heart of the beast. A howl of agony pierced the night as the mutant werewolf convulsed in pain. The villagers, witnessing the turning tide, rallied behind Istvan, their renewed vigor giving them the strength to stand against the monstrous abomination. As the silver blade pierced the creature's flesh, a blinding light enveloped it, and the air resonated with a haunting wail. The mutant werewolf, its once feral eyes now dimming, collapsed to the forest floor. The curse that had plagued the land was lifted, and the creature's grotesque form disintegrated into a cloud of ash. The remaining villagers, exhausted and battered, gathered around Istvan, their savior. The forest, once tainted by the presence of the mutant werewolf, seemed to exhale a collective sigh of relief. The blood-stained ground bore witness to the sacrifices made to rid the land of the unholy abomination. As dawn broke on the horizon, casting its golden rays over the Carpathian mountains, the surviving villagers returned to their homes.